Hello chemistry fans, and welcome back to chemistry problem solving session for chemistry 1032 here at the Academic Success Center on Broward College North Campus. I am your host, Dr. Russell Betts, and I'll be guiding you through this problem today. So let's take a look. Chapter 11, problem number 6. Identify the class of compounds for each of the following molecules. This kind of question gives students lots of trouble because they don't want to learn the classes of compounds. You must learn the classes of compounds. They're very easy. It's just a little bit of memorization. Unfortunately, the M word, memorization, I know I don't like it either, but you kind of have to memorize them. Now, this, and this, and this, and this, all four molecules are similar. They have one structural element that's common between all four. This one. That is called carbonyl. That is not a class of compounds. That is a functional group, or a structural element, if you will. Notice, there's a carbonyl right there. Right here, that's a carbonyl. That's a carbonyl. And so is that. All four of them have carbonyl, but they're not the same. They all have different things attached to the carbonyl. Now, let's take a look. Notice on the left-hand side of all these drawings, we have a CH3CH2, CH3CH2, CH3CH2. The right-hand side, the left-hand side of these drawings are all the same. I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you the differences between all four. The difference is on the right-hand side of these examples. Here we have a CH3 attached to the carbonyl. Here we have an H, hydrogen, on the carbonyl. Here we have an O to a carbon, to a CH3, on the carbonyl. Here we have an OH on the carbonyl. Those are the differences. So now, this one is known as ketone. A ketone has a carbonyl flanked on both sides by carbon. Both sides of the carbonyl have to have carbon. Okay? That's called ketone. Example of that is acetone. This one, this is aldehyde. Now, aldehydes have a carbonyl, and they must have at least one hydrogen attached to the carbonyl. Usually, there's only one. There can be two, that's a very specific example, but usually there's only one. Carbon of the carbonyl has a hydrogen directly attached to it and another carbon. Hydrogen directly attached to the carbonyl and another carbon. This is known as aldehyde. Down here, this is ester. Esters have a carbonyl. On one side is a carbon, so carbonyl, there's my carbon. On the other side is an oxygen, carbonyl, oxygen. On the oxygen is a carbon, carbon. So carbon, oxygen, carbonyl, carbon. So the carbonyl has an oxygen and a carbon. On the oxygen is another carbon. So this is ester. Right here. This is carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid is extremely similar to an ester. Just watch. Carbonyl, carbon. It's basically the same so far. An ester and a carboxylic acid are essentially the same, except in an ester, there's a carbon on the oxygen. In an acid, there's a proton, or a hydrogen. Now, can you remember that? Acid. Acid is a proton donor. There's the proton. There. Carboxylic acid. All right? Now, unfortunately, there's no really other way to remember this than to memorize it. You just kind of have to commit it to memory. So this is a good starting point, but it's not your ending point. You have to make flashcards or some way to help you remember these things. It will be very helpful if you know these classes of compounds moving forward into other chapters, because the other chapters deal with them. So please commit these to memory. There are more, and I'm going to go over some more, but for now, get these memorized. Make sure you can identify them by sight. Okay? And with that, I hope that this has kind of explained a little bit, maybe got some aha, enlightening moments for you. If not, please contact a tutor or come and see your professor during office hours. Get this stuff straightened out. It's very easy. It's just going to take a little bit of time for you to put it to memory. Okay? So please don't sit back on this. Please tackle it head on and learn these things so that you can do well on the exams and in this course. Okay? Now, with that, I'd like to wish you good luck and good chemistry.